Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SICW All-Star Wrestling. I'm Drew Abenhouse, here with Herb Simmons. Herb, we are just days away from our huge show this Saturday night, July the 18th, East Carondelet Community Center. Wrestling is back in East Carondelet.
Oh, I'm telling you, and we love these Sunday nights, don't we? This is the best day of the week. We get to sit here, we get to talk about wrestling, and we get to even let our great fans out there know just exactly what SICW is doing, and that's Saturday, July 18th.
Yes, sir. And we get to hang out with our great fans. Hop in our comments section live on YouTube. Join the conversation. If you're watching this, give us a like, a share, a subscribe, leave a comment. We appreciate you all, and we're going to have a great time tonight. July the 18th, we have the Battle of the Canadians. It will be the Canadian hero, Sean Vincent, taking on one half of the SICW Tag Team Champions, the Northern Saint, Tony Flood. That is going to be a great one.
Oh, since we announced it last week, I mean, the internet's been burning up with it. Everybody's looking forward to that match, seeing these two go out there and grapple at it.
Well, speaking of one half of the Tag Team Champions, big news for the other half of one of the Tag Team Champions. It was scheduled to be Jason Breed versus the Mongolian, the international bounty hunter Attila Khan, this Saturday night. You will know more about this. Apparently, Attila Khan will not be with us this Saturday. Stephen E. maybe pulled the man. We don't know. But you just made a huge match.
Well, and again, Stephen E., we know what he's capable of. He has been that way ever since he arrived on SICW. He's that mystery guy. You never know what's in that brain of his. For whatever reason, he has pulled Attila Khan out of that match. Was it because he was scared of Jason Breed? Have no idea. But as we say, the business has to go on, and wrestling is going to go on. And I have put a substitute in there.
You certainly did. I mentioned one half of the tag champs. This is the other half. This match will, I assume, now be our main event this Saturday night, as Jason Breed will not be taking on Attila Khan. Jason Breed will instead be challenging for the Central States Heavyweight Championship against the one and only Big Nasty Glenn Williams, defending the Central States title.
Well, and, you know, he's been complaining and complaining.
Is this what he gets?
Is this
payback?
This might be what he wanted. So I think I deserve a that-a-boy. I mean, Jason Breed gets a shot at the Central States title, and the fans are going to get to see, I guess I'm trying to say it's time for Glenn Williams to shut up or put up or shut up.
Herb, that's a nasty burn.
That's a nasty burn.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk a little bit more about this throughout this episode, but now let's head to a recent event at the Belclair Fairgrounds as Bobby D, Belleville Zone, representing the Little Devils, takes on superstar Steve Fender.
Bobby D getting the crowd behind him. Not that he has to work very hard to do that here in the Belclair Fairgrounds. This is Bobby D's hometown we're taking a look at here. He is taking on superstar Steve Fender. These two, their matches are legendary. These are both former classic wrestling champions. These are both former Central States champions. It was, in fact, Bobby D, his last Central States title run. He got it from superstar Steve Fender. So there's a lot of history between these two. They become more familiar with each other every time they meet in the squared circle. Herb, I expect this to be a tremendous contest.
Oh, and this is another one of those matches that people continue to talk about. Of course, we can't forget to mention superstar Steve Fender, trained by the great Harley Race, and you can tell just by his action in the ring.
Absolutely right. There's about 50 years of wrestling experience in the squared circle right now, so I can't wait.
Oh yeah, and Bobby D, like you said, hometown hero right here in Belleville, Illinois. All the work he does with the Belleville Little Devils. Look at that.
Look at that. See, that's what I mean. These two know each other so well. That was a reversal of a reversal. Steve knew what Bobby had, and Bobby saw Steve's reversal coming and reversed that into an arm drag of his own. Very impressive.
Of course, not only the action in the ring was great on this one, but what do you know about the man walking around outside the ring?
Oh, my goodness.
Lucky P, right?
Yeah, that's what they call him. I know a lot about him. I know he's a big fan of his own work, as well as his wrestlers as well. And one thing I always like to give Steve Fender credit for, trained by Harley Race, but Harley Race was trained by Stanislaus Zbyszko. Stanislaus Zbyszko and his brother, Wladek Zbyszko, went back into the 1920s. Those were the tactics that they passed on to Harley Race in the 50s, 60s. So that was passed down to Steve Fender. So deep down, Steve Fender, he has tricks and tactics that date back well over 100 years that people haven't seen before. So you see a lot of unorthodox tactics and maneuvers from Steve Fender, and that's why his knowledge and the moves that he has in his repertoire go back to really some of the very beginnings of professional wrestling in the United States.
Well, and that makes you wonder why man with that type of knowledge and ability has to associate with the likes of Lucky P. Larson.
Well,
than money.
Yeah, just because you have those tricks doesn't mean you want to use them. Work smarter, not harder, I guess, right?
That's it.
If you can call working with Lucky smarter, that's still up for debate.
Yeah. And this crowd was definitely behind Bobby D. Like I said, of course,
Look at that.
I remember when we were out in Sandoval and in Breeze, Illinois, the crowd just automatically took to Bobby D.
You know why I think that is? Bobby, almost more than anyone on our roster, embodies just the spirit of professional wrestling. Bobby D can grapple with you. He can fight with you. Usually you have to take it there first. Bobby likes to play by the rules. If you do some high flying, Bobby actually can do that. He's almost 300 pounds. You wouldn't expect him to fly up and over the top rope or do hurricane ranas off of the top rope, but he certainly will pull that out when he needs to, and the fans love it. I've been watching Bobby D for 15 years of my own as a fan. I don't think I've seen Bobby wrestle the same match twice. So you never know. He's equipped to do anything, to go anywhere, and so it's a very spontaneous thing. You never know what you're going to see with Bobby D. He has many finishing holds in his repertoire. He might use a sharpshooter. He might use a figure four. He's got all sorts of suplexes. He's used that Frankensteiner off of the top rope as a finishing hold once upon a time. So you never know. Bobby can end it a multitude of ways, and he's got all sorts of bag of tricks. As you can tell, I like Bobby D and watching him. Very much.
He's one of the crowd favorites, and I can tell you, when he goes out there, he's giving it pound for pound. He'll go toe to toe.
Look at that, a Dory Funk Jr. style European uppercut. So now he's just resorting to chops, which people will tell you are some of the more vicious chops they've ever experienced that come from Bobby D. Oh man, but there he is. Steve Fender, he's as crafty and resourceful as anybody, sending Bobby just right into the post.
And that's what I mean. When you saw him just do that, you could visually close your eyes and see and just remember how Harley Race used to do the same thing. You know, somebody be beating him down, and just like that, Harley could switch it around.
Yes, sir.
And that's what Steve has done right here.
Well, one thing that was interesting about Harley Race, especially during his NWA Championship reign, so many people have their own style. Ric Flair, you're going to wrestle Ric Flair's match. He has his own ways. Kind of similar with the Dory Funk Jr. He's got a style. Harley, if you watch, you can go to YouTube and watch all of the various challengers that he faced. Harley would adapt his wrestling style to match who he was in the ring with. So as opposed to relying on his own style, Harley was kind of that bag of all tricks like we've been giving Bobby credit for. But it's Steve that has that experience and that knowledge. And I think Steve Fender will tell you that he might be the student that Harley Race is the most proud of. Harley
told me that before he left us. He's the one that got Steve set up. Went to his tour to Japan a couple of different times, and Harley just didn't do that for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was his name on the line out there.
Yeah, Fender's been over to work for Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan and many times, and so.
Now look at that.
Single leg Boston Crab from Bobby D. He's so confident in his own abilities that he can just kind of wait and see what's coming at him and decide in the moment what to go for, and it's really very impressive, and it's obvious why the last 3-4 years he's only been defeated a very small handful of occasions. Oh, look at that, Steve Fender, but as Bobby D, we talk about it, 20 years or more he's been doing this. Steve Fender, even more experienced, and that's what Steve has to rely on. Oh, look at that, Bobby's feet have him trapped up on the bottom rope. I know, Lucky, he's like a shark smelling blood. He saw a weakened opponent and an opportunity to attack, but our senior referee, Nick Ridenauer, was on top of that one. He knows what Lucky has up his sleeve, so I think he's probably got an eye out, does Nick Ridenauer.
Steve taking time to do a little jolly-jacking with some of our great fans right there.
Yes,
and
sir.
We got the greatest fans anywhere.
Greatest fans ever. A lot of these fans will be in Belleville, Illinois on August the 1st, when it will be the first time in many, many years that Fair St. Clair returns, and SICW will be hosting wrestling events at Fair St. Clair, and we'll have a little more information about that on this TV show.
Right there you see Steve Fender just methodically just taking his time. Bobby D, I don't know if he's the guy you want to give time to.
No, absolutely not. He's not only, we talked about all of his offensive capabilities, but he's as tough as they come. Steve Fender, maybe taking a little too much time there, yeah. You have Bobby weakened up. You have to execute immediately, as you see right there. Bobby D cut Steve off at the pass, just tossed him right back into the center of the ring. Nice clothesline. Back elbow to the superstar, but he's right back up. He's another one. It's super, super tough. Look at that. Oh, he's just holding him straight up in the air. There's a vertical suplex, and then there's a vertical suplex. Look at that.
I mean,
yeah, not only visually, this suplex looks like an exclamation point, but it is an exclamation point onto the superstar. Bobby very wisely capitalizing, going for the cover. Didn't have the energy to hook a leg. I think that might have been the deciding factor right there.
and right about that time, Lucky Pete was saying, what is it going to take to get Bobby D down on this?
Bobby D, of course, very soon. We're just a handful of days away from his championship rematch against Brandon Beretta. We will talk about that. That'll be at the Citizens Park in front of the Little Devils, which Bobby D is undefeated at Citizens Park. He will see if that works for him and he can carry that streak on August the 8th as he goes against Brandon Beretta for that Classic Wrestling Championship in a Texas Death Match.
St. Louis style Texas Death Match. Both men on the canvas now. Bobby in the corner, slow to get up.
Absolutely. This match reaching the 10-minute mark. So they've put it all out there. They've got to be running on fumes. Oh, nicely done. Shin breaker from Bobby D. Nicely done, working on that left leg of the superstar. Yeah, he's trying to lock up that sharpshooter. He's used this to great success in the past. No, look at this. Look at this. Lucky P. Larson sensing his man is in danger, and it worked. His distraction at least got that hold broken. Bobby D releasing the sharpshooter, shifting his attention to Lucky Larson. Look at that, Steve Fender. He's getting up. Bobby's got to look out. Oh, he did indeed. Getting out of the way in the nick of time. Lucky's interference maybe slightly backfiring. Look at that back suplex. But nicely done for the 3. Oh, Lucky's got to be kicking himself now. Superstar Steve Fender. All it takes is 3 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Bobby D, nicely done, picking up a win. Evenly fought contest, and Bobby had the wherewithal to get out of the way in the nick of time, staying one step ahead of Steve Fender, picking up the win in front of his hometown crowd.
29 seconds, your winner via pinfall, Bobby D.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Bobby D victorious against superstar Steve Fender. That was a heck of a match. And folks, we're going to follow up on that in just a little bit here on this episode and talk about Bobby and his huge opportunity August the 8th. But for right now, we have to take a quick commercial break. Hang tight with us. Hop over into the live comments. Let's have a chat for a few minutes, and we'll be right back after this with some more great wrestling action.
SICW welcomes our newest sponsor, Total Roofing. For all your roofing needs, call Total Roofing, 618-719-6767. That's Total Roofing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from a commercial, and we've got a lot to talk about. Herb, one of the upcoming dates that I am super excited about, along with the entire city of Belleville and neighboring cities and counties, Fair St. Clair, for the first time in over a decade, returning to the Belclair Fairgrounds.
It's going to be great, and SICW is a big part of that. SICW and Belclair Fairgrounds have been joined at the hips from back in the late 70s. We took a little time off of that. People like Bruiser Brody, Luthez, Cholesterol Blackwell, Tojo Yamamoto, and people like that all came to wrestle at the Belclair Fairgrounds with us. And for the fair to be back after, like you said, over a decade, brand new racetrack, quarter-mile dirt track, being promoted by Worldwide Technology Raceway and a relationship with St. Clair County.
This
is phenomenal.
This is like the debut of this new racetrack.
Yes, this is the debut.
So come on out, fans, and we'll all see it together. So we have wrestling at Fair St. Clair. We have racing at Fair St. Clair. But we've got some pretty great music going on as well.
Oh, yes. For one of them, Bret Michaels.
Bret Michaels, one and only, the lead singer of Poison. Fans, you're bringing back, this is all about reliving memories and making new memories here at Fair St. Clair. I can't wait. Not only will Bret Michaels be there, but the one and only Noah Cyrus will be in the house. She is, of course, the sister of Miley Cyrus, daughter of Billy Ray Cyrus. And those are just two things. Those are just two musical acts: music, wrestling, racing. I'm so excited, and I still have to wait a little while.
Carnival rides for everybody. A touch of truck. A pageant. They're coming back and crown the St. Clair Queen, who will go on to compete on a state level. So a lot of action going on July 30th, 31st, and August 1st when Fair St. Clair makes a return to Belclair Fairgrounds.
I can't wait. Fans, be there with us to make some new memories that we'll be talking about for years to come. Speaking about memories, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to represent not only modern day wrestling, but old school classic professional wrestling. So now we're going to hop in our time machine and go back to some good old classic wrestling.
Introducing from Los Angeles, California, weighing 250 pounds, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. From Pensacola, Florida, weighing 225 pounds, Ted Allen. Referee, Ted Warren.
Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Is there any bigger star? There are some as big, but I don't think you find too many bigger. And it's certainly a great honor to have Tony Atlas here on St. Louis Wrestling. Atlas, of course, did win the Mr. USA bodybuilding contest. It doesn't take you long looking at him to know why. That man has muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles. What a powerhouse. Ted Allen goes behind him. He looks like you with your coat off, Mick.
Was in St. Louis not long ago, and the big 3-0, St. Louis Wrestling Enterprise brings you Mr. USA, and boy, we've got him here in St. Louis.
To say the least. Mickey saw those muscles on Tony Atlas. He says, man, I'm going to take him down to Pietro's with me. He can carry the trays or help me out. He can do anything he wants. He can own the restaurant. He probably could.
Boy, he can give us another dining room.
What a great career Tony Atlas has had. Full Nelson by Ted Allen on Tony Atlas. I don't know if this is a very good idea on Mr. Allen's part. Look at those muscles bulge. Tony Atlas breaking free. Oh, yes. Nothing the referee can do to help Ted Allen there. Tony Atlas. Ted Allen has a real problem here. Not that it can't be conquered. Nobody is indestructible. Everybody can be beaten. Professor Toru Tanaka saying that about King Kong Brody. He's pointed out before, he says, everybody in St. Louis, everybody in the world, they think that King Kong Brody is indestructible. But Professor Toru Tanaka, and you know what's happened between them before, Professor Toru Tanaka intends to prove to everybody in the wrestling world next Friday night at the Checker Dome that King Kong Brody cannot be beaten but destroyed. He intends to use those chops and those kicks on King Kong Brody. But you know King Kong Brody. Somebody says, hey, let's fight. Brody doesn't back up. Not from anybody. One of the things that has often goaded and has often bothered King Kong Brody over the years, and particularly in recent months, is the fact that he felt people were trying to bury him in tag matches and not give him the opportunities that he deserved. But certainly against Toru Tanaka, an international star, he has that opportunity to prove that he can take on anyone. He has a caliber opponent that he wants. He'll have plenty of people here that'll give him a tough battle. So King Kong Brody certainly has his work cut out, most particularly next Friday night at the Checker Dome against Professor Toru Tanaka. The referee dives in, gets a count of 1 on Ted Allen. The arm stretched by Tony Atlas. That Atlas, what an impressive looking athlete. Certainly a case where a picture's worth 1,001 words. Whoa! Ted Allen bench press right off and nearly out of the ring. He comes in angry. Oh, and he gouges the eyes of Tony Atlas. Ted Allen going after the eyes of Tony Atlas. Atlas staggered, blinded. Ted Allen pounding on that muscular back of Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Allen flails away, but Atlas fighting back. Tony Atlas drops Ted Allen. A double punch. Tony Atlas puts Allen down. Headbutt by Tony Atlas on Ted Allen. Flying elbow drop by Atlas. Giant head drop, headbutt rather, to the side. And I have to tell you, Ted Allen, they learn that if it comes to a fight, Tony Atlas has some answers himself. Atlas slams Allen's head into the turnbuckle. Tony Atlas going up on the second rope. Looking up below. Flying headbutt by Tony Atlas on Ted Allen. Tony Atlas grabs Allen. Uh-oh. Look out below. Giant body slam by Tony Atlas to the air. Giant splash by Atlas. Atlas covers Allen, and Mr. USA has a victory. Tony Atlas, the giant slam and the giant splash. What an impressive victory by Tony Atlas. Let's make it official and hear from Mickey Garagiola.
In 4 minutes and 29 seconds with a giant splash, the winner, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from that classic wrestling action. We have to take a quick commercial break, and when we return, we have a lot to talk about, featuring the Classic Wrestling Championship, Bobby D, Brandon Beretta. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, What Were They Thinking is proud to be a part of the show with Herb Simmons at SICW.
Show some enthusiasm, Joe. Put on a damn bow tie. We got Herb Simmons, we got the Kill Arena, we got St. Louis, where Mr. Briscoe is in the Hall of Fame. What Were They Thinking? It's available on Backstage Pass. Sportskeedas, our buddies. We talk about the wildest, the craziest, the dumbest, the insane moments in wrestling history that I'm proud to be a part of, because Mr. Briscoe, you're the one that hired me.
And I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, John.
That's not nice. Not nice at all. We love Herb Simmons, and Herb Simmons, you have been there forever. Mr. Briscoe thinks you might be 1,000. I don't think you're a day over 900. We love St. Louis. What were they thinking, Backstage Pass?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and now we are going to take a trip to FanFest 4 to set the stage. The match was building for months. Brandon Beretta was avoiding Bobby D. Bobby D was entitled to a rematch for his Classic Wrestling Championship. Brandon Beretta demanded that Bobby D personally put up the match fee, which was $1,000. Bobby D accepted, put his money where his mouth is, quite literally. So fans, let's go to FanFest 4. Let's see what happens. Bobby D with $1,000 up for grabs. The Classic Wrestling Championship is on the line. It's Bobby D versus Brandon Beretta with special referee James Beard. Let's see what happened at FanFest 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a special trip back to FanFest 4 and take a look at the Classic Wrestling Championship matchup as Strictly Business, as you see right now, jaw-jacking with the fans, is putting the title on the line against the former champion, our very own Bobby D, who not only is this his championship rematch, Bobby D, you saw in the past, folks, he had to put up $1,000 of his own money to ensure that this match even happened. Brandon needed it. He talked to you. I'm here with Herb Simmons, and we saw him basically lay it down. He said, I need my money no matter what happens. I need my champion's fee. Brandon Beretta certainly ego going to his head a little bit, I think.
Well, and as you said, Dr. Drew, this was kind of a unique match because of that. Brandon demanding he have that $1,000 put in an envelope and be given it to him that night of this match. That was the only way he would agree to it, so I didn't like it, but we did because Bobby insisted on it, and that's what got us here to this night, and also, you know, a special guest referee.
Absolutely right. It's the one and only James Beard. He is well known from World Class Championship Wrestling and other places of a big Texas wrestling guy. I believe he recently has worked on a book that he is putting out, and free plug for Mr. Tony Richards and the Pro Wrestling Time Tunnel podcast. If you check that out, folks, James Beard was a recent guest with Mr. Tony Richards, and I know you've been a guest with Tony Richards. I love his podcast quite a bit as a wrestling historian myself.
Oh yeah, Tony goes back into the time tunnel, kind of like what you do, and brings all that history up to the forefront here, just like we're doing right here. This is a match that's going to be history. They're going to be talking about this match for many, many years to come.
Absolutely right, and it's really, who would have thought that Brandon Beretta would have evolved to the point where he's in there going toe-to-toe. This is a very even matchup, which would have fooled a lot of people if we said that, you know, a year and a half, 2 years ago. But Brandon Beretta, we've seen that on our TV in East Carondelet Community Center. They've wrestled in the past, and Brandon has learned a lot of amateur wrestling, which Bobby D, of course, that's his style. He is an amateur wrestler. As you see there, just blocked a headlock takeover, picking up with a big, beautiful back suplex from Bobby D onto the champion. So this is a great crowd here, great camera shot here, looking at the wonderful audience from FanFest 4. This was a weekend that we will remember forever, at least until, 10 or so years down the line. FanFest 5's going to be here before you know it, folks.
Well, already booked May 14th and 15th of 2027, and right back here in this same beautiful ballroom, calling it the Wrestling at the Radisson.
Yes, sir. I can't wait.
There's a phrase coined by the mayor of Fairview Heights, Illinois, Mayor Kupski. He said, you know, there used to be wrestling at the Chase. We're going to call this Wrestling at the Radisson.
Look at this, Bobby foregoing his amateur wrestling skills, and he's just punching Brandon right in the head. Oh, beautiful. Followed up with a drop kick right into the corner. That's nicely done. Bobby D continuously improving and evolving his game, adding new weapons to his arsenal. Bobby, I hope that he was able to remain calm here, because this was months in the making. Brandon Beretta, of course, won the title from Bobby D. Back, gosh, I don't even remember the month, but it's been 9-10 months ago now. And at this point, Bobby had been chasing Brandon. He wanted a rematch, and Brandon wasn't having it. He said, at one point, he said Bobby didn't deserve it. Brandon thinks he's a little better than everybody else. He was demanding more money just to put the title on the line, which is I mean, he's defending it. He holds it right now. That's SICW's title. That's the band's title. It doesn't belong to him, and he was acting like it did.
There you see, he picks up that title right there, and referee James Beard stepping in and saying, "What are you doing?"
Oh, look at that. But Brandon also learning the art of referee distraction and manipulation. That might have been just a momentary thing to have James facing the other way. Brandon took advantage, kicking the middle rope right when it was in Bobby's, we'll call that the extreme inner thigh area.
Yes. The low area. Well, you know, the other thing we talk about how Brandon has developed over the year ever since he came into the Ace Wrestling Academy, but also what he has developed, and I don't always agree with it, but he is a master of a mind game.
Yeah, he
and
sure
I think
is.
that's what he's been doing with Bobby over the last 8 or 9 months, avoiding him, but right here, this is when he came, a reverse neck breaker.
Yeah, nicely done. He just nailed, whipped Bobby into the corner chest first, and now he's taking advantage of that. Brandon, he's getting better. I don't want to give him too much. Going for the 3 here. Bobby kicking out of there. Bobby's one of the toughest sons of guns I've ever encountered, and it's going to take a lot more than that to keep him down for the 3. And the only time I can remember in recent history that Bobby was counted down for the 3 is when he lost the title. Brandon Beretta, of course, I believe it was a low blow, followed up with that 1%er, that headlock driver, onto the championship belt back at the Belclair Fairgrounds. That's Bobby's last loss on record, I do believe. Bobby, you could count him on less than one hand then how many times Bobby's taken losses like that in, gosh, 2-3 years now.
Oh, exactly. And let's talk a minute, Dr. Drew. This crowd at FanFest 4 was electrified, especially not only through the matches here, but throughout the whole event. But this was kind of the finale of that weekend. And, I mean, they're still talking about that, and it's ironic that they're already talking about 2027. What was your feeling about that whole weekend?
It was great. We're making memories that'll last a lifetime. We're of course good friends with the Cauliflower Alley Club, with the Thez Tragos Museum and Hall of Fame, and I'm not bragging. I'm not putting us on that level, but from fan feedback, we're becoming kind of one of those sorts of yearly destination events for the same types of fans. If you scan this great crowd that we're looking at now, I'm not going to zoom in too close because I do want to pay attention to the match here, but you've got fans from all over the United States. You've got fans that came down from Canada, and there's, I'm sure, some dignitaries in this camera shot. So it was an incredible time.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And we can't say enough about our cameramen at ringside. I think we had 2 of them there. We had Mark and Adam.
Yes, sir.
And, of course, all the fans, you could just see them with their cameras out. We had a local newspaper, Randy, there taking some pictures. So, great time. But now Bobby and Brandon back and forth, just blow after blow.
Not to get away from the match, because there's those chops of Bobby D's. Those are very well known. Brandon got that boot up. This is back and forth contest. Bobby D's been doing this. Oh, man, look at that. Duck to the Inseguri from Brandon Beretta, going for a deadlift German suplex. Nicely done when we talk about the amateur wrestling. And that's not just amateur. That's good old-fashioned professional wrestling right there. Bobby is the master at it.
Oh, yeah. You know, if you want to chain wrestle, if you want to brawl, I mean, Bobby D's the guy that can get out there and do it.
Yes, sir. He's been doing this for over 20 years now. That's why it's so incredibly impressive that Brandon Beretta, who's still, gosh, I don't have the exact date, but it's probably about 3-4 years into his career, which in the SICW locker room, you're still a rookie compared to a lot of the guys that you have back there. So,
but he is quickly climbing that ladder all over, and like I said, now this action got outside the ring, and as you know, we've talked about this before, that's when these guys become really dangerous when they're out there, especially a Brandon Beretta.
Absolutely. That's the rules get a little looser outside of the ring. You know, the ring posts, the guardrails that you see here all come into play when you get outside of the ring. But James Beard is a master of controlling things, and he's making sure he's keeping the count going and making sure that the wrestlers are aware of the count and that they have to get back inside the ring. At least I know that's Bobby's goal. Brandon's just trying to get away from what is right now just an onslaught. from the modern-day Spartan, some call him. Look at that. He tried to go back to that same trick that he used before. Bobby saw it coming. He blocked it. Oh, man. That's just kudos to Bobby in the midst of this very match. Oh, look at that. Brandon picking him up and just dropping him to face first. Incredibly done. But Bobby D, both of these guys, they are adjusting and adapting even during this very match. They're learning from their mistakes and they're correcting it in real time as we're watching it right now. Incredible.
Well, and you and I were both there that night, of course, but to be able to sit here and to call this again, I just get goosebumps because this was a match, like I said, people's going to be talking about this match for many years to come.
I've been watching wrestling most of my life, going back into the 80s. I know yourself goes back a little before that. We won't say how far back, but it's a little while. But this is the kind of match. You can watch this anywhere in the world, and it holds up to anything that is on the top levels anywhere. So these are two top guys, and it's really a privilege to have at this event had a ringside seat, and now we're up close and personal getting to recap it. What's good about doing a little bit of post-production, as we call it, when you're in the moment, you miss a lot of the very minor things that happen because you're paying attention to so many things. But now it's nice to be able to see things that you actually kind of miss when you're living it live.
Well, especially you sitting at ringside with that ringside seat, you're monitoring the time. You're looking around, and
in this exact moment, Brandon Beretta, you just saw, stole my water bottle and took a drink of my water. Jerk.
It just. And now the third man in the ring, you said, James Beard wrote that book. And any of you officials out there want to brush up on it, pick up James Beard's book. It's been out for a little bit now. Oh, look out of the corner.
Nicely done, Bobby. Just going for the 3. Nope, Brandon got out of there. That was a reversal. We saw Bobby take that chest first slam into the corner about 5 minutes ago, and this time he reversed it, did the same thing to Brandon Beretta. It's incredible. These two guys really do match each other very well.
And they have been going since the sound of that bell.
Yes, sir. And you can tell both men have been studying up on their opponent. Bobby, of course, has had his sights set on Brandon Beretta for 6 months plus since he lost the title. And Brandon, what did Brandon do? Where'd he go? Did he
go back to the curtain?
He grabbed the belt. And, I think he's trying to get out of there. Brandon trying to escape, of course, as we know, even losing by countout, he would save the title. So, but Bobby chasing him. James Beard making the count. Bobby's coming. You see, here's Brandon's back. Bobby's back. The count continues.
Yeah, the referees get him some latitude here, I can tell you.
It's a championship match.
Yes,
you hate to end it like that. And especially in world class, there's countless times in the past, pardon. There you go. Got him back in the ring. Bobby D. Smartly done. But you go back to old world class championship wrestling, and of course when Ric Flair was the NWA heavyweight champion, he would do that all the time. He would deliberately try to get himself counted out or disqualified, so the referees would sort of ignore certain things like that because they knew that's what he wanted. And I think maybe James Beard was allowing a little bit of leeway. He knows the fans want to see a fair match and a real ending result here, a pinfall, a submission.
Well, and that's why we brought in the special guest referee as a James Beard, because this was an important match. That title means a lot, and Brandon Beretta's got everything to lose, and Bobby's got everything to gain here.
Well, Bobby could potentially lose $1,000 and lose his championship rematch here. Bobby was chasing Brandon Beretta, as we've mentioned, for several months, so who knows if it doesn't go well on this occasion. Who knows the next time Brandon Beretta might want to put that title on the line.
I mean, look at Bobby on the canvas. He's still trying to fight his way back. That's the drive. Punches to the midsection. Now, back and forth once again.
Punches, chops from both men. Who would have ever thought the pudgy little Brandon Beretta that we knew once upon a time would become such a well-chiseled. He's a physical specimen now. He's in amazing shape, and he's going toe-to-toe with one of the toughest men that I know in Bobby D. Brandon up on the corner, Bobby following him. Going for what? He's tying up those arms? No, I thought he was going for a suplex.
All the way up.
Maybe going up top for a Frankensteiner. We'll see. That is absolutely what it is. Brandon Beretta sent flying into the center of the ring, but look at that ring awareness. He rolled over into the opposite corner.
I didn't remember.
I don't know
Man.
I'll tell you what, these two are definitely giving the fans here at FanFest their money's worth. That almost reclaimed the title for Bobby D, but Brandon Beretta, as much as we hate that he's using a lot of shady tactics nowadays, he's a tough guy. It doesn't, just because you learn how to manipulate the rules, you have to be tough to be a wrestler, and that's something that Brandon Beretta really is. Got to give him credit.
And this crowd was electrified. It was deafening. I'll tell you, now they're back outside the ring. And I'm thinking, oh boy, what's going to happen next?
And imagine the stamina it requires. These two men going toe-to-toe now for well over the 10-minute mark. And they're not done. Look at that, using, I believe, the ring steps. Yes, sir. Bobby has Brandon right where he wants him. He's got to get him back inside that ring if he wants to reclaim the championship. Look at that. Brandon gets Bobby back in the ring.
What's he doing? He's over there by you now.
Grabbing the title.
Oh, there he goes.
He just shoved your son, Jason Simmons, to the side.
What's he doing? Now he's coming back over to you.
Well, the money, the envelope full of money was hiding underneath that ring bell. Brandon grabbed the envelope. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Beretta just purposely got himself counted out of the ring. That's it. The match is over.
All right. Wow. You saw it. I couldn't believe it when we were there. I couldn't believe it when we were rewatching it. Brandon Beretta, he's a sneaky son of a gun. He got himself counted out. He kept the Classic Wrestling Championship. He stole the envelope full of 1,000. I guess he didn't steal it. Technically,
it was his.
It was his. Bobby put it up for the match. The money wasn't on the line. It was Brandon escaped with the money, with the title. But here's what that got him. Texas Death Match. August the 8th. Citizens Park in front of the Belleville Little Devils. Bobby D gets a shot against Brandon Beretta in a Texas Death Match. And for those that might not know, let's talk about a Texas Death Match. A normal pinfall, a submission, will not end the match. What that does is it starts a count. After a pinfall or a submission is counted and logged by the referee, there is a 30-second period where the wrestler that is down has a chance to compose himself, gather his strength, get back to his feet, and keep fighting. This goes back to, obviously, as the name would suggest, Texas. Dory Funk Jr., Doc Sarpolis. These matches could go for hours. I mean, it might be over in 10 minutes. It might be over in 1 minute. It might go all night long. There's been several falls. This could be 10 falls, 20 falls, 30 falls. The match only ends when one competitor, quite simply, can no longer get up. You got to put a stake in them. It's like killing a vampire. You're going to have to make sure you have your man down and out. So all the stakes are on the line. The Classic Wrestling Championship is on the line. A little bit of pride for both of these men is on the line. Bobby D will be fighting in front of his home crowd, his students, the Little Devils. This is going to be an incredible match. And adding the Texas Deathmatch stipulation was kudos to you. I can't imagine adding that. What a great way to see how the next step in this feud. I can't wait.
Well, and I got to give credit to Brandon Beretta, the champion, for planting that seed because, the Texas Death Match in St. Louis, the way Sam Muchnick and Larry Matysek always visioned it is when you had two competitors out there that couldn't settle the differences. And Brandon Beretta has definitely proven that this thing between him and Bobby D has got to come to a head. And the only way to do it, we saw what he did on that match there. Grabbed the money and the title and left. And so he can run all he wants. They can run all over that football field. And if Bobby catches him wherever that pinfall takes place, it's a no disqualification.
Yep.
So it's going to be finished.
No count-outs.
No count-outs.
So Brandon can't run away.
So Texas Death Match, St. Louis style, August the 8th at Citizens Park in Belleville for the Belleville Little Devils fundraiser. You said it, hometown, and I can tell you, as I said before, we've talked about it, if Bobby D brings that type of match that we saw him, Brandon Beretta better bring his AA game because he has everything to lose and Bobby has everything to gain.
Can't wait. That's going to be a big one. I think it's going to be one of the matches of the year, if not the match of the year here in SICW. Brandon Beretta's been our classic champion 10 months now. Bobby D looking to reclaim what was once his. Can't wait. It's going to be a great one. Don't miss it, folks.
August the 8th.
It's not just a great match. It's a fundraiser. The Belleville Little Devils football, wrestling, cheerleading for the youth of Belleville, Illinois. So not only will you see a great match, but your money will be helping go back to the community and supporting the kids that might be our future wrestlers. It's going to be a great one. Folks, we've got to take a quick commercial break. We will be right back with, all right. Nasty Talk.
Oh, boy.
Glenn Williams with Nasty Talk.
I'll get something to drink.
Since 1967, the Wrestling Fans International Association has united wrestling fans around the world. As a non-profit charity, we preserve wrestling history, support independent wrestling, and help those in the wrestling community who are in need. For the fans, by the fans. Join us at thewfia.org. WFIA, preserving the past, supporting the future.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it is time for everyone's favorite, some people's least favorite. I don't know. It's been going on for a lot of months. He's been ramping up this talk against the fans. You can see his frustration boiling over. He's waiting for that thank you, Herb. I think he's going to keep waiting. Well, let's see what Glenn Williams has for us this week, folks.
Well, surprise. Surprise! Herb Simmons finds a way to screw Big Nasty yet again. I've asked for weeks, where's my flyer? I've asked for weeks, where's my match announcement? For weeks, everybody's been getting announced that they've got a match. July 18th, hell, even the new guy that you let come back got announced for a match before me. That's crazy. I hold 2 championships here. There's only 3. I hold 2 of them. And I can't even get the decency to get a matchup and it be announced ahead of time. I'm the marquee here. And so now I've got to defend this championship against a guy who I always beat, and that's Jason Breed. Me and Tony Flood beat the Gateway Aints, the Gateway Taints. We beat them at the racetrack. Yeah. And see, it's never been personal between me and you, Jason, until now. Because now you are directly trying to take something from me. You tried to take the tag titles and you didn't do that. You're trying to take this from me. You're not going to do that because, let's be honest, you're not the type of guy that to do the things that you're going to need to do to beat me. See, I'm willing to do anything. And that side of you, we both know, died a long time ago with GCW. See, right now, you're a reformed man. You're a good guy, right? You're kissing Herb's ass. That's the whole reason why you got this opportunity in the first place. Because you pucker up and you kiss Herb's ass. Because what have you done to deserve a championship opportunity? Because if you think that you deserve it, Chef, boy, are you dumb. I guess we're just handing out opportunities now. Nobody has to earn anything around here. See, I'm not stupid. You let Sean come back for a nostalgia run. You guys are trying to convince everybody that Sean is a changed man. No, he's not. He's the same guy. Sean's jealous of me still. That's why he's facing Tony. He's trying to beat up his replacement. And he's going to find out that Tony's better than he is. And you're going to find out I'm better than you. I thought we already took care of all this. So now I'm going to have to beat you like you owe me money. Because you're sticking your nose in my business. So I'm going to beat Jason Breed on July 18th at East Carondelet, in that crap town, in front of you crap people. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to the main event. Because the main event that night is going to be Herb Simmons walking his ass into the center of the ring. All of the locker room's going to spill out around the ring. All of you people are going to stand on your feet, and everyone's going to start chanting, "Thank you, Nasty. Thank you, Nasty." Jason will be in the corner beat up. "Oh, thank you, Nasty." He'll be crying because I beat him up. And then Herb's going to stick his hand out like a man, and he's going to shake my hand. And we're going to stand there and hold it for an uncomfortable amount of time so Adam Hamlin can get right in the perfect frame and take a picture that'll last forever. Because that'll be the new cover photo on Herb's page. That'll be the new magazine cover for SICW. It's going to be something that will live forever. The night of Big Nasty Appreciation Night, when Herb Simmons finally thanked Big Nasty. Because that's what's going to happen. I'm tired of playing these games with you. I promise you, Herb, I will hijack your shows. I will hijack your TV. I will hijack every big moment until I get what I want. I want my match announced for FanFest 5. I want my appearance announced for FanFest 5. And I want my thank you. And I'm gonna get it. Jason Breed versus Big Nasty. I can't even believe it. I thought you had to earn an opportunity around here. I guess anybody just gets handed anything around here except for me, the guy who brought this place to the promised land, the guy who revived SICW, the reason that people even talk or watch the show and talk about SICW. Just getting disrespected left and right by everybody. I bet you all have a group chat and you're all like, "Hey, you see how pissed Alfie is this week?" Because you're all jealous. That's fine. I'm used to being the one that doesn't fit in. I'm used to being the different one. Because when you have dreams as big as mine, when you are on a path of greatness like I am, nobody is ever going to understand it because you all can't achieve what I'm capable of achieving. Because I'm the moment maker. I'm the risk taker. The creator of chaos. I'm mentally sick, physically thick. My name is Big Nasty, and everywhere I go, I'm the star of the show. And on July 18th in East Carondelet, Big Nasty Appreciation Night is in full effect. Herb Simmons, pucker up and start practicing in the mirror, because one way or another, you and all of these toilet babies and all of those ungrateful people in that locker room that should be thanking me for the house, you're all going to say it together and at the same time. Hashtag, thank you, Big Nasty.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw Nasty Talk. Herb Simmons got up and left in the middle of it. Herb. Hey. Herb. Well, I guess he didn't want to talk to me. He didn't have anything for Glenn, and at least for now, Herb was fed up. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. For Herb Simmons, I'm Drew Ebenhaus. We'll see you next week.